Hey cousins, welcome back to the channel. My name is Moni. If you are new here, please be sure to leave a like, a comment, and let me know your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here. So let's not waste any time. Let's just get right into it. So many of y'all are already aware of how I feel about this entire situation with Matt from What's the Dirt, as we've been discussing this breakdown and its anticipated release dating back like a month or two ago. A few days ago, Matt finally released the Family Matters breakdown. And just as I predicted and warned Matt that this was going to get very ugly if he didn't break down certain subjects reasonably, especially as it pertains to domestic violence, race, and slavery. I also told Matt I was very eager to see how he would tackle the allegations of domestic violence towards Whitney, how Drake appears to be concerned with her being abused, but also him degrading Whitney in the process by telling her to shake her ass for him and to shake her ass for free. Dave Free, who Drake also alleges is the father of her son, Enoch. Those points I felt were very, very important to discuss because domestic violence against a woman or a man is not acceptable. And the allegation that Whitney also doesn't know who her child's father is an insane allegation, especially coming from a man who had his own paternity issues with his former sex worker baby mother. Drake revealed he took multiple paternity tests for his son, Adonis, reasonable because she was a sex worker, but also because of the way his son looks. Those are Drake's words, not mine. He said Kendrick was ashamed to hold his son because of his complexion. So, how fitting is it that it's actually Drake who was battling paternity issues and the one who was, in fact, ashamed of how his son looked because Adonis wasn't what he thought his son would look like? It took you years to expose this beautiful blonde haired, blue eyed baby because you felt that's not what your son was supposed to look like, Drake. Drake was projecting his own experiences and insecurities of his own child onto Kendrick. But did Matt note that in any of his review? But let's continue. The reason I told Matt on several occasions these topics, slavery and especially domestic violence, were important because the allegations of domestic violence, especially, were unfounded, with no serious backing besides an alleged altercation between Kendrick and a random woman no one was able to identify at the Hard Rock Hotel in Vegas. There was a security guard who made claims on a live stream that a fight occurred during Memorial Day weekend at a specific location, the Hard Rock Hotel in Vegas, where she worked. However, it is documented Kendrick was not at said location as he was working at a different event at a different location when this security guard alleged a fight happened between Kendrick and a woman. Kendrick had a performance at Daylight Beach Club on the day the fight would have occurred. It is also important to note that security guard did not see Kendrick with her own eyes, but she was told Kendrick was involved. You know who was there on set date at the Hard Rock Hotel? Diddy and Cassie. And not that I can confirm it was them. However, it's important to note Cassie recently sued Diddy for $30 million, and she was given it in less than 24 hours. With video of Diddy beating Cassie brutally in a hotel hallway also being released to the public. In her lawsuit against Diddy, Cassie speaks on several hotel incidents of her being abused by Diddy and even being put in a hotel in different locations away from people for months so she could heal from her bruises. But again, no confirmation, just something to think about, especially with Diddy's dislike for Kendrick in the prior years due to the controversy. Even J. Cole had to step in because Diddy allegedly tried to pour a drink on Kendrick, resulting in J. Cole beating Diddy up. So nothing came of the allegations that Kendrick Lamar attacked the woman, besides a Media Takeout article that Media Takeout, later retracted because they found they had no proof of the altercation. just some random girl claiming to be security at the Hard Rock Hotel and that someone told her Kendrick beat a woman bloody. No police report or hotel documentation of said assault to a woman. And as a researcher, did What's the Dirt say these things in his video? I don't know, maybe I missed it. Kendrick also went on The Breakfast Club and denied these allegations and asked that if anyone was assaulted to come forward and that this wasn't something funny to play with because real women every day are victims of domestic violence. And I want to add men as well. However, instead, during his promotion, Matt wanted to continue harping on the fact that Kendrick Lamar regularly slimed Whitney out all of his life, as if this was something anyone was denying or questioning. That's what Matt wanted to focus on when promoting the Family Matters breakdown. Not the domestic violence, not Dave Free being Whitney's baby father, but he wanted to highlight the cheating. He found that to be more important than abuse in an alleged paternity issue between 3 childhood friends. Maybe because that's the only truth Drake said throughout the entire battle, that Kendrick cheated. And I'm not saying he shouldn't discuss the cheating in his breakdowns because it was a part of the song. But spending almost your entire breakdown on it when you could Google or listen to Mr. Morale, that was very calculated. That was a calculated choice to make. Drake looked like, yeah, he got something right in this. He got something right. We need to balance this thing out. When Matt randomly woke up one day and decided to go on a rant on his YouTube channel and Twitter regarding being unbiased and that Family Matters wasn't a record that got the attention it deserved, I knew we were going to be in for a long walk in the park. So let's go down the timeline of me warning Matt this could get ugly if he didn't handle this correctly. He's like, Family Matters is well underway. This record did not get the attention it deserved. 7-minute track with visuals included. There's also the Buried Alive Part 2 track, which nobody talked about, and this has to be in the video as it's such a hard narrative to flip. Phenomenal record. You can call me an OV ho. This is where he goes wrong. You can call me an OV ho. I'm not going to shit on Drake just because that's a cool thing to do these days. Call it how I see it, right? In my opinion, this is where it starts to get a little rocky because if you're being objective, and I say this with love, I'm gonna say it again because I appreciate the stuff that What's the Dirt does. But if you're gonna say I'm not being biased and I'm gonna be objective, you can't go around saying, call me an OV ho. I'm not gonna shit on Drake because it's the cool thing to do these days. Because it's the cool thing to do these days. That's not being objective. That's pushing a narrative that people who don't like Drake, who haven't liked Drake before this battle, and now they don't like Drake because of the material that has come out. You're saying the only reason why these people don't like him is because it's cool to do. That's being biased, Dirt. So, of course, on Twitter, he posted the same thing. It's hilarious that people are literally unfollowing my account just for saying that I'm going to give this record an honest and thorough breakdown. Super fans on both sides are so fucked up. I said to him, so he know that I can say this to him. I'm not just going to say this on my platform. It might be the cool when he said that people are following him. So I said it might be the cool thing to do part while trying to say you aren't biased. I don't think you are. People have their reasons why they don't and haven't liked Buddy, but I'm excited for it. You haven't come off biased to me at all, but I can see why that would rub people the wrong way. So he's getting a hard time, right, with the things that he's been saying lately. And it's like, Dirt, you don't need to do that. And I get it. Sometimes, all publicity is good publicity, but it's the continuous harping on the bias and appearing objective that has seemed to rub people the wrong way because he keeps making it a point to say this when it pertains to Kendrick, and he's doing that in an effort to appear unbiased to promote what's to come. In that video, some of the cousins reminded me Matt is from Canada, pointing out he was showing off OVO gear to prove his non-bias to Drake fans who were mad about the 616 in LA video. To me, it's really no issue if he has OVO gear. I mean, buy what you want. That's your business. And I don't care if he is a fan of Drake or not, or that he lives in Canada. As long as he continues to do these breakdowns with an unbiased lens, put your love for Drake, the 69 God, on the back burner. And it appears he was doing that with his previous breakdowns. However, just look at the things he was saying in his comment section regarding Kendrick fans who were only in defense because you decided to attack them. They weren't attacking you. It was Drake fans who were upset with you due to the 616 in LA video. So how did you make it about Kendrick fans in that moment? His 616 in LA breakdown was amazing, even if there was some stuff I didn't agree with. it felt was a reach. For example, with a 16-year-old in LA narrative as one of the meanings for the names of the song. But then he also presented things like Kendrick speaking from Drake's perspective. I felt like he smoked that, especially because he provided examples of why he believed this. And I had never seen that analogy until after he stated it. And then people began saying, "Oh, I knew that already. I always thought that." Mind you, I ain't never seen nobody say that before. And then, for example, noting how Drake loves wine coolers.
Trying to send me a message. So I've kept that a consistent theme. How we get it?
Of course she was trying to send. That's completely inappropriate. How old were you?
I don't know, like 15. But so I've kept that a consistent theme.
So he points out that Drake has a like for wine coolers. Cool, okay, I'm like, whatever. But then he shows us an interview of a young lady that kind of backs why he believes Kendrick is rapping in Drake's perspective.
Coincidentally enough, with respect to this line, a 17-year-old Madison Beer attended Drake's Memorial Day party in 2016, and she shared the following story.
I met him actually like 2 years ago at his Memorial Day party. Funniest thing about Drake is he drinks wine spritzers. Like, that's all he drinks. I was like, can we go to the bathroom in your room? I was like, I just really don't want to wait on this line. And he was like, yeah, of course. And this girl had like a vodka cranberry or something in her hand, and she tripped and fell and spilled all over Drake, like all over his like white sweatsuit.
So there's this young lady, Madison Beer, who's telling the story of being in Drake's home, her and another girl being in Drake's bathroom. Drake is wearing a white outfit, and the young girl spills a wine cooler all over Drake's outfit. Kendrick's line in 616 in LA is, "Wine cooler spill on my white t-shirt, the sightseer." So that kind of makes sense as to why Dirt was saying Kendrick was rapping in Drake's perspective, on top of everything else that he presented in the video. Of course, we don't know if it was facts, but it was reasonable. So at this time, I had no reason to assume he was being biased he would be biased in his future videos. However, the newfound constant harping on being objective and being unbiased was strange to me, especially repeatedly saying it's a newfound trend to hate on Drake when you have people like me who have hated him since forever. So, no, it's not this type of newfound trend to hate him. He's been known to do some weird things in the past, and people just don't have to like him. That type of mindset shows you're simple minded and you can't think outside of what you like. And if someone doesn't like what you like, it's unreasonable. It's the trend, it's fake, it's not real. So, how are you being objective and unbiased, Matt, when you claim people who do not care for him or who don't think the song was good is automatically a hater? But let's continue with the timeline. So after the first call saying that he's not an OVO, days later, he decided to turn the rage bait up. He said, let's go full throttle. That's what really set people off today. He says, again, I believe in a word called objectivity. I will show the sides of the coin that gets dismissed and unexplored. It's alarming how easily Kendrick lies in this interview. Most would hear this response and say, what a solid guy. In reality, he was already a habitual cheater at this point, his own words. He then continued to cheat for many years thereafter. Notice how Angela says Top Dog said no relationship questions. At this point, he was promoting an album with entire records exploring themes of loyalty. In hindsight, the writing was incredibly disingenuous. Be prepared for another side of the coin. Drake didn't lie about everything. No bias, just the real. Again, harping on objectivity, not being biased. Okay.
You said you had a boo. Yeah. There was rumors that you guys got engaged. Yeah. Is that true? Yeah, definitely. Congratulations, appreciate that. Yeah.
So they're congratulating him, right, on his engagement to Whitney. This is the video that Dirt posted to back up him saying that Kendrick is a habitual liar.
I'm loyal to the soil.
Welcome to the club, bro. That's right.
I was going to say that Top Dog told me no relationship questions.
All right. Kendrick says, I'm loyal to the soil. Angela jumps in. Top Dog said no relationship questions. Rightfully so. Kendrick has always been very private when it came to his relationship. We barely seen Whitney. And then when we do see her, it's probably like at an award show or something like that. They coming in and out, but he never really spoke in interviews about her. So it makes sense why Top Dog would say, hey, no relationship questions. That ain't y'all fucking business anyway. We here to promote this album.
But I guess, yeah, that's also a great example to have somebody that you're loyal and faithful to. A lot of people think it's cool to just sleep around and do whatever.
So they bring up, I guess I would have to look at the original video, but it looks like it was chopped because they go to talk about loyalty. But Angela's basically like, okay, that's cool. That's a good example that you and Whitney been together for a long time. That's loyalty. No sleeping around, all of that. Kendrick's like, yeah, right.
You know, the thing at the end of the day, you wanna always have real people around you. Period.
That makes sense, right?
Whether it's male or female, and everybody that's been around me, they've been around since day one, and I can't change that. I don't change for nobody. I can't run from that. You feel what I'm saying? So I always show respect when respect it's been given, and people.
So it sounds like basically they mentioned the engagement. Angela's like, nah, Top said no relationship questions. Kendrick's like, laughs at it. And then he pivots. He turns the question around and he talks about having loyal people around him. From his friends to his family, he's still with his same day one people. And we still see that to this day. He's not even with TDE anymore, but Top Dog is still right over his shoulder. Dave Free, the one who gave his CD to Top Dog, is his partner in crime. He's with Whitney, his high school sweetheart. Kendrick keeps the same people around him. So he didn't lie in this interview.
People that have been by your side, you're supposed to honor that. And that's how you stand up.
He didn't lie in the interview. He just pivoted from the relationship question. But according to Dirt, is that this interview is alarming at how easily Kendrick lied in the interview. This is why people are upset with you, Dirt. And then he goes on to say, at this point, he was promoting an album with entire records exploring themes of loyalty. That's the record with Rihanna. So this is what I said to Dirt. You're my boy, but you need to go back to the board and edit out this part of your video. The interview that he's using, he's relating it to the Damn era where loyalty was on the Damn album. The interview that he's calling Kendrick a habitual liar and talking about loyalty, the interview was from 2015. This interview was talking about To Pimp a Butterfly. Kendrick was not on to loyalty yet at this point. And even if we were to talk about the song Loyalty, that song was about being in a toxic relationship. So I said, Dirt, if you plan on including that video and you're going to use that comment, you need to delete that, because it's not accurate. And we want you to be accurate when reporting this. So here we have What's the Dirt using the wrong interview, aligning it to the wrong era, an era that didn't even happen yet. You're way into the future. And then we have you misquoting Kendrick, stating, I swear, baby, I only fuck those white chicks because I'm racist. I did it for my ancestors. It was all for the culture. Don't you understand? I did this for us. LOL. Come on, man. We have you misquoting Kendrick, making up shit that Kendrick didn't even say, and then you laughed at it. As a white man, what made you think that tweet was okay? And then to laugh at the idea of a black man's racial trauma and how he could have correlated it towards him maybe wanting revenge, not knowing there are black men with similar feelings regarding things with white women, slavery that dates years, decades. You thought that was okay to say and to tweet, and you thought it was okay to laugh at. Do you see how out of touch you are, just in an effort to prove somebody might be right? So again, I provided him some advice later in the video and reiterated what I wanted to see from him in the Family Matters video: the race issues, the domestic violence issues, the child paternity issue, etc. I wasn't sure if he would have watched the video or not, but I gave my advice anyway. Turns out he did watch the video. So let's rewind and see what he said here. Hey, What's the Dirt? Much respect to you. And although you might not be as happy with me these days, I appreciate your feedback. I watched your live and it was helpful. I'm not going to say I'm not happy with you. I was a little shocked at what occurred, but I saw your tweet where you stated you had a conversation with your brother. So I feel as though you did take the feedback. You are taking the feedback, and I'm pretty sure you're going to do what I said in the video. You're going to do your job like you've always done. But I appreciate you, and I appreciate the what is this, a super chat? So here we have What's the Dirt acknowledging me stating where he went wrong in those tweets, right? Me also giving him his props and stating I still got faith in him that he's going to do this right. He's going to get this right. But since being on the promo chain for his Family Matters breakdown, Matt has adopted and has been regurgitating Drake's stand talking point. This is the best song in the beef. This is a phenomenal record. No one had a problem with the 616 in LA breakdown. This song will age well years from now. How, Matt? The only way this song is going to age well is if you prove that Kendrick beat the shit out of Whitney and that Dave Free is her baby father. Or Kendrick would rather be with a white woman. So why are we waiting a decade from now for the facts to be received? I'd assume if you could prove any points in this video, you would have included that in the video, no? Or is this your Drake moment where he claims he set Kendrick up in the Heart Part 6, but provided no proof of it? Again, you continue on with your antics popping up in people's chat, talking about Whitney's sister, who's a civilian, calling people Drake haters because it's the cool thing to do. But yes, you're so objective. You're so unbiased. And again, I warn you that if you don't get this right, you will regret it and you will be in hot water. I told you this repeatedly. Not that it's a threat, but it's a fact. How are you feeling today? How did you feel yesterday? Okay. So Family Matters finally drops, and like I assumed, it was a pile of dog shit. For the life of me, I am shocked that someone can put together the video breakdowns for Euphoria in 616 in LA as well as you did, and then this is what you turned in after working on it for months. No way in hell this was done by the same person. In 616 in LA, many of us found out Kendrick was rapping in the perspective of Drake for the first 6 bars. That was interesting. That was cool. I shared that video with my family and friends off of social media. So I couldn't wait to see what I would learn new that I may have missed in Family Matters. I doubt I missed any things, but you never know. And you could imagine my fucking surprise when learning you thought Drake disrespecting his mother and the possibility that she doesn't like him to use the N-word clever. You found it clever because you were assured that because his family in Memphis, who's Black, probably says it, Drake can say it as well. And he is proving to Kendrick, I am so much of a nigga, not even my Jewish mother could stop me from using it. That got you going, pal? You felt that? That was clever. That was the theory that made sense to you. And then you admit that you pulled up his father's history, family history, which is crazy within itself. I think you did the same thing in 616 in LA. How is that not a crime? But because Drake shares the same blood from some people in Memphis from his daddy's side, it's automatically a go for him to use the N-word, according to you. Fuck the part where Drake's dad was a deadbeat and visited him here and there, so he probably did not and does not know those people on a serious level to this day. Those are Drake's words, but you are assuming because he's half Black, he has another Black family, they got to use the N-word so he can use it. Again, how do you know that? See, me, I use it, but growing up, I did not use it. My aunts, my uncles, my grandparents, my great-grandmother, grandfather, you could not use that in their house. Why? Because it meant something different to them. While my generation reclaims it and uses it as a term of endearment or acknowledgement to our friends and associates, it meant pain, it meant heartache, it meant struggle, it meant racism based on the things my elders saw and personally dealt with. So because you saw the South on someone's ancestry, you automatically equated that to them using the N-word with no other proof or backing. So when the company man who gave you so much grace says he did not use the N-word for nearly 20 years, you thought it was cool to laugh and say, I can tell. What the fuck do you mean by that? So Drake's family probably uses it. A family you don't know, never seen outside of his father. But you can tell the company man, a very educated Black man, you can tell he doesn't, and then you called him Carlton Banks on Twitter. Everything I told your ass not to do, you are doing it times 20. What the fuck is wrong with you? Are you stupid? Shout out to Curtis King because he revealed you called the company man stupid about 15 times in a 12-minute video. But let's continue. We can't forget the 37 niggas for every year Drake was born. That might have been one of my favorites. You know, the other day, I tried to say nigga 33 times in one day to see what it felt like for every year I was born. Now imagine using 37 niggas in a 3 to 5 minute song. I couldn't even crack 15 niggas in that one day, but Drake fit 37 niggas in a 3-minute song. This is the stupidity at its finest, and you decided to put that in the video as an option, which would only make Kendrick's point the entire time. Drake lacks cultural awareness because he did not live it. Because Drake took a few trips to Memphis when his deadbeat daddy found time for him does not make him of the culture. Drake's culture is tuna fish bagel sandwiches in the Jewish suburbs of Toronto, Canada.
Well, I'm more tired than you. So what's up? You didn't get your sandwich.
No.
Talk about it?
No. I didn't get my sandwich. I was looking forward to a nice tuna sandwich on a bagel.
Oh, tuna. I can eat tuna.
And there's nothing wrong with liking tuna fish on a bagel. If that's what you like, that's what you like. And there's also nothing wrong with living in the suburbs. My people live in the suburbs. We're not all from the trenches, and it's a beautiful thing. But this is who you think grew up saying the N-word because his family from Memphis probably did it because they're from the deep South. Also, you say you found it clever that a half Black man is weaponizing the N-word towards another Black man by using it 37 times in a song. Why did you think that was clever? Where did you get that from? Did Drake tell you this? Maybe Adam 22 or Academics told you this. I heard you be in group chats with them. 2 men who've made it their mission to disrespect and discredit Kendrick Lamar for the last 6 or so months. And shout out to the Happy Dad partnership that you have. I see you removed your own plaques you worked hard to earn to promote a brand that's also associated with Drake's biggest eater. That's very interesting. Like I said earlier, a reach you had in 616 in LA was Drake being in LA with a 16-year-old. But at least in that instance, you provided us proof of why you thought that. The connection to the young model, him meeting her at a young age at a Rihanna concert, then reconnecting right when she turned 18. But this time we get 37 niggas for how many years Drake has been alive. Wow, you dug so deep into your ass, you pulled out blobs of shit for this one. In your video to the company, man, you said the 37 niggas was such small talk, a Twitter talking point. It was so minuscule. But there are a ton of more things that I didn't appreciate. Keeping with the theme of you calling a black man a milkman, saying he wanted to be balls deep in some tight white ass over the thick queens with weave, and then using Uncle Ruckus illustrations to double down on that thought, even though you deny insinuating it on Twitter. You put it in your video. Another favorite is you making light of the rapping like you're trying to get the slaves free bar. Calling Kendrick Lamar a fucking grifter for uplifting his people and standing on the front lines during the Black Lives Matter protests. When Drake has never in his career or life spoke for anything when it comes to black and brown people in this world. He's given some money, but by your words, Matt, Drake donating money is nothing more than a tax write-off. That's what you alleged about Kendrick, who has multiple organizations donating to the kids of Compton and surrounding areas when you compared him to Nipsey Hussle. Sounds stupid, doesn't it? But Kendrick is a grifter. A grifter is defined as a person who engages in petty or small-scale swindlings. Someone who preys upon people. Funny to me how Kendrick is the one preying on people, but Drake is the one with the predator allegations. And then I almost shit myself hearing you make Drake relationship with the Hell's Angels sound like it's cool. Like it's roses and fairy tales, as if they don't have alleged connections to fucking white supremacy. Drake got shamed by the Toronto police chief for his connections to the Hell's Angels. But you think it's cool? Where was the research, Matt? It's grifting and rapping like you're trying to get the slaves free for Kendrick, but allegiances and family with Drake and the Hells Angels. I don't know, something looked real funny in the light to me, especially after you said you could relate to one of them because y'all grew up near the same area or some shit like that. Now let's talk about the domestic violence and the minimizing that was done and going out of your way to not include significant details like date.
This Twitter user calls him out. You spent months on this, and you edited the security interview for Drake's narrative. You said the dates lined up with the security guard, which it doesn't. The guy next to her said it was a UFC fight night, not boxing. She agreed. UFC 173 happened that weekend in Vegas. So if you're sticking with her story, you should stay on that weekend. Hashtag culture vulture.
When talking about the incident, why didn't you include the important details like dates and actual locations? Like I mentioned earlier, Diddy and Cassie were in this vicinity that was being talked about by the alleged security guard in the video. Why didn't you include the actual dates and the actual locations? Or the fact that Curtis King literally sat down with Whitney's cousin for an interview recently. Her brother has also been in support of Kendrick during the entire battle. Did you miss it? Or did I miss it? No inclusion of Whitney's family, but yet you made sure to use Curtis at the end of your praise B-roll. You also used me. I had no idea you were going to use me. You didn't ask me if my name wanted to be attached to this video. You did not ask me if my beautiful face wanted to be at the end of your video. So I found that funny, especially after you called me a hater before dropping the Family Matters video. The fucking audacity. And before I almost shit myself, this time I almost had a fucking brain aneurysm at you saying you found the line about domestic violence funny because Whitney is taller than Kendrick and Drake made a short joke. Maybe it's just me, but I'm not into dark humor. Nothing about alleged domestic violence is funny to me. It's just not. I'm sorry. And let's talk about locations and where people like to live. Let's get into that part of the video.
One of these guys have been good at giving.
Why did you move to New York? Is it because you live in that bachelor life?
So I talked about the New York line in my tailor-made breakdown, and like I said before, I'm of the opinion that Kendrick and Whitney are indeed separated. I think Drake got this part bang on, but again, this is just my opinion, but ultimately, it is the furthest thing from a far-fetched take to have.
Proposed in 2015, but don't want to make her your actual wife.
Drake seems to be insinuating that they've been together for a long time, but this isn't what Kendrick really wants, and he's never really truly been committed.
I'm guessing this wedding ain't happening right, because we know the girls that you actually like.
Kendrick did propose in 2015, and while it's not a big deal to never get married, for a devoted Christian and a man of God, this is typically a priority. However, Drake has already referenced the facts regarding the cheating with white women, and he insinuates that this is what Kendrick really wants.
So you say Drake got this part bang on, meaning you agree that because Kendrick Lamar has property in New York City, it's correct that him and Whitney are no longer together. That's what you said, in the simple fact that Kendrick wants to be with white women instead because he decided to live in New York City. That's basically essentially what you're saying. And you stated as fact that they are broken up because Drake asked him why he moved to New York City. Bang on. If you did research, you will see Kendrick Lamar is in New York City working on pglang campaigns and to work on new ventures. Dave Free also was in New York City, where he received a few honors for his groundbreaking work in production and film spaces. One of which is Chanel, where they had an event in January where Kendrick did the music for it. Dave Free and Kendrick Lamar were highlighted in the New York Times. There's also rumors that Kendrick has spent time in New York City working very closely to Robert Marcelliniano, a known hero who's known for rescuing over 100 children from child sex trafficking. It's alleged they're working on a documentary together. Also, to pretend he's in New York alone is interesting, as if Whitney does not have photos on her own social media of her in New York City with her children. And don't get it twisted, I'm not presenting this information as fact. But when you present things as bang on, you need to provide documentation as to how you came to said conclusion, and not just because Drake asked, why do you live in New York City? You did none of that. Especially when there's information on their social medias to combat the narrative that Drake is trying to push, that you are now bang on doubling down on. And even if he wasn't working on anything in New York City, Kendrick Lamar is a grown fucking man with a family. So are you saying this grown man with millions of dollars to his name cannot have multiple properties in different cities and states? And the only way he can have property in another location is because him and Whitney are having issues. Doesn't Drake have multiple properties? Talking about them being broken up is not far-fetched. Based on fucking what, Matt? Based on what? So you will believe Drake's word and not the fact that this woman is standing next to Kendrick Lamar at every turn. She's at the pop out. She's in the music video. Her brother is defending Kendrick Lamar. Her cousin is defending Kendrick Lamar. But because Drake said it, Drake said they aren't together because he lives in New York City. You believe it? Why didn't you also include the fact that he just closed on a home in Los Angeles? Do you not see how stupid this conclusion is? Your job is to do research, and you did absolutely none. You just say, well, we'll wait to see what happens. I've never heard you say that in any other video. Time will have to tell. Or maybe that's intentional. You intentionally left out information to drive home Drake's narrative that could be dispelled with one Instagram post, one Google search, one YouTube search in order to keep balance. Whitney is in the Not Like Us music video. She's in that video because she's reclaiming her fucking power as a woman, because a weirdo who couldn't beat her child's father bar for bar decided to degrade her and allege she's a domestic violence victim while also calling her a whore. And you helped double down on that, questioning if she stepped out on Kendrick and that it is a real possibility with no proof or no theory as to why you may think that. Hold up, let's go to the video. Let's look at the clip.
He needed to step on. As far as Whitney sleeping with another man besides Kendrick, I saw people acting as if this was impossible, but I do feel like the psychological damage that Kendrick did to her throughout his own infidelity would cause many women to seek that affection from someone else. I mean, come on now, guys. Like, if you treat a woman like that for as long as he did, do you really think it's a 0% possibility that she might just eventually veer off with someone else?
Because what type of woman are you dealing with? How do you open your mouth to suggest that Kendrick did so much psychological damage to this woman that is reasonable that she would go out and sleep with other men? Are you a fucking licensed psychologist? Show me your medical license. And then you throwing up psychological effects of infidelity as to why she would go cheat is beyond disgusting. The fuck do you mean? I mean, come on, guys. We asked for facts. We didn't ask for, I mean, come on, guys. We didn't ask for that. We asked for proof. And if you don't know, just say, I don't know. Not a bunch of trust me, bros. You are gross. You are disgusting to assume this of Whitney, a woman you do not know. This is sexist. This is misogynistic. And you sound like Drake degrading this woman off of, come on now, bros. This isn't a breakdown of lyrics or proving if they are true or not. You don't lead with it's a possibility because he damaged her so much. You are supposed to say, I have no evidence to back this up. I can't confirm or deny Drake's claims. Like, let's cut the bullshit and let's call a spade a spade. This entire video that you presented to the public was trash. And I don't care how anyone feels. And then you saying Kendrick outlining the entire beef on Euphoria was a safety net to get ahead of the rumors that were supposed to come. That's terrible. It wasn't a safety net. It's what exactly it was. Drake does the same song and dance every time he is in a battle with someone. He disrespects someone's woman. He disrespects their home front. He degrades the woman. It's predictable. His game plan is the same every time. And not to mention the possibility of a mole. So how is it a safety net, Matt, when everything Kendrick said in Euphoria, he outlined everything and it came true exactly how he said it would? You are so much smarter than this, Matt. But this entire breakdown shows how culturally unaware you are, as this is something you decided to make a living off of when it comes to Blackness. I don't care how many times you listen to God's Plan, how many times you listen to J. Cole, or whoever else you're listening to. These are just random names. But just because you like hip hop does not make you a part of the culture and able to tell us to make light of a man saying nigga 37 times or that rapping like he's trying to get the slaves free is cool. It does not matter how many books you buy and half read, you will never get it, especially with how you handle the subject. Even when I told you to handle it carefully. This breakdown was nearly 3 hours of dog shit in an attempt to make things appear equal between Drake and Kendrick. No matter how much you say these are facts or come on, bro, throughout this video, there is no equal between someone cheating and someone having several weird incidents with young girls. But you tried your best, though. You tried your best through rage baiting your way into this breakdown. Family Matters was very surface level. And the fact you thought this video needed 3 hours tells me how out of touch with reality you are. You wanted a FD signifier, I'm with the culture feeling type moment, and you could never have that because you would need to understand the culture first, and that is half. You just don't have it. And you also don't understand the fact that a half black man telling another black man that he's rapping like he's trying to get the slaves free and him writing nigga in a 3 to 5 minute song 37 times isn't clever, and it isn't culture. Not to mention, I didn't even get on you the embarrassing gang politics you tried to teach us. The audacity to tell a man, Kendrick Lamar, who comes from a lineage of Crips and Bloods, has friends and family still in that life today. Kendrick, seeing a man as a child get shot in the head, that a dude, Drake, from a Jewish neighborhood in the suburbs of Canada, that decided to buy himself into mob ties is more affiliated than him. That Chris Brown, another good boy from the clean streets of Virginia, decided to pledge blood in his late 20s is more gang affiliated than you. When you're a real member or know some real members, you know this isn't even something you brag about because real shit happens in it. This is the delusion. And another point proving your lack of cultural awareness. Drake also got on that song is that you know who really bang a set YG. You know who really bang a set Chuck T, mentioning Chris Brown. No real person from gang life is gonna go on a song and out other gang members. That's how out of touch Drake is. That's how out of touch you are. Your opinion is not fact, especially when you don't present them with evidence to back up your claims like you did in Euphoria with the Kill Bill theory, where Uma Thurman actually inserted herself into the beat, and Kendrick rapping in the perspective of Drake. with the wine cooler and other lines. And wait, how can I forget? How can I forget you offering me your Meet the Grams theory before you even dropped the Family Matters video? When you did that, I knew you were up to no good. The writings were on the wall. Why would you present to me the Meet the Grams theory before you even get to Family Matters? Isn't that the point of you doing these videos? To provide us with new details? This was your plan all along. You wanted to test the waters with, with your biased and unbiased Twitter rants and YouTube posts. Rev up the chaos. Push that, oh, this song is amazing. This song is great. Say disrespectful things like Kendrick is a habitual cheater and a black messiah who likes white women and justifies it because of slavery. Hop in and out of other YouTube channels, chats and stuff to try to get attention, offering up hints for your breakdowns, exposing tweets from Whitney's little sister who's a civilian, and all of this. You stating on other platforms you had interviews that obviously were scrapped and didn't make the video. I wonder why. So with all of that, disrespecting another content creator and the company man, now the backlash is too much. You telling on other platforms about your condition, which I won't name. You are tweeting you are done with this, creating polls asking, oh, if you should continue. As if you didn't tell the Ville on his platform that you had other projects you couldn't wait to get to. If you don't want to do this no more, Matt, just say that. I wouldn't want to have to expose the disturbing details and Meet the Grams either. But to end this off, I saw how remorseful you appeared to be in Curtis King's live stream last night in regards to how you handled the situation with the company man. And you found yourself on the Current Culture podcast in your new happy dad gear again. Shout out to your partnership. Shout out to the partnership. When I watched the 12-minute video that you did where you called the company man stupid nearly 15 times, it really reminded me of the exchange Marlon Wayans had with Vlad. Vlad tried to belittle actual Black royalty. The Wayans brothers are a family of Black cinematic royalty, and Vlad, a culture vulture, tried to tell Marlon he had no motion because Marlon refused to do an interview with him for pennies. And then we have you telling an esteemed journalist who gave you grace that he had no motion and wasn't going to get any clout off of you. That incident with the company man also reminded me of how Drake acted with control. He claims he understood battle rap and hip hop culture, but he clearly didn't because he was the only one who got upset. We were here to give you criticism regarding the video that you created, but you didn't understand that what the company man was telling you was just giving you advice, and you flipped out. And can't forget, I was called a hater as well because I held you and your work to a higher standard, and your Easter egg that you presented was known info. So I can only imagine if what you feel about the company man, a credited journalist, has no motion. I know you probably feel like you probably put me on. But anyways, some people are different and they're willing to forgive. Me personally, ain't doing it. Not that it matters, but if I go out of my way gracefully, provide you details of why you should handle this with kid gloves, and I provide you details of why something would be a bad idea repeatedly, and you don't take that into consideration, and you still jump off the roof into the frying pan, I don't want to hear the excuses. I don't want to hear you coming back and saying, oh, my brother told me this, my girlfriend told me that, my friend from Philly told me this. You knew exactly what you were doing and you felt confident in it. So how come if everyone in your inner circle can see that you were out of your damn fucking mind in said moment, why couldn't you, Matt? You turned your platform into buzzwords and rage bait in a matter of 2 months because you wanted to prove so bad that you are not biased to Drake fans after being slaughtered by them originally. You felt the need to harp on Kendrick being a terrible person despite the fact you didn't feel the need to do that with Drake. This breakdown took longer than usual for a song that did not need 3 hours. The context of the songs were simple. There was no layers. It was not comparable to Euphoria and 616 in LA. And you did those videos in an hour. You went from being an obvious music lover, looking and learning and presenting what you found and presenting new information, into giving us Family Matters, what looks like a fucking hit piece, stating it's all facts with Kendrick's and it's allegations with Drake. You can't say these are Drake's words when you were then doubling down on them again with these are facts. Come on, guys, think about it. You did that a lot in your video. Again, I wish you what you deserve, but let this be a reminder. You don't need to walk on eggshells, but remember, when being a guest, don't take your shoes off and get comfortable unless you ask first. Getting too comfortable gets you egg on your face. But y'all be cool. Y'all be safe. I appreciate y'all smashing that like button, leaving a comment, and subscribing to the channel. I'll see y'all in my next one. Later.